Hey everybody! So in this video, we are going to be discussing a topic that we've seen talked about in a lot of online spaces that we frequent lately, and because we all had very strong feelings about this, we felt the need to weigh in. So online lately, we've seen a lot of discussion about whether or not it is okay or valid for members of a system to be a different race than that of the body. And whether or not it's wrong or inherently bad in any way for this to happen. So, to address the first part, we are very well aware of the potential negative things that can go on in the world on the basis of race. This is not an okay thing. That being said, we don't choose how we're formed. We don't choose to be any particular way in any system. No system gets to choose what its members look like, sound like, who they are as people. So the idea that it would be invalid to be of a different race than the body does not make any sense to any of us. All system members are always valid, no matter what they look like, no matter what they sound like, no matter what features they may or may not have inner world. All system members are always valid. Now, we have also seen discussion about there being something inherently bad or problematic about one member of the system or multiple members of the system having a different internal race than that of the body. And to that, our general opinion is that unless they are doing something as an individual that is problematic or harmful, there shouldn't be any problem. They're not harming anyone simply by existing. And while anyone who has different feelings about this, your feelings are completely 100% valid, we feel that it is not helpful or healthy for people's mental well-being to shame them or make them feel bad for identifying with any particular group, even if the body does not share those traits. The same way that we don't feel it is sexist for a member of a system to be a different gender than the body. For us, we feel that it would be detrimental and not just a little, but a lot harmful to try to police others' identities and tell them what they can or cannot be. Now, in our opinion, all system members have the right to identify however the heck they want. Period. Full stop. And unless they're doing something to hurt anyone or being derogatory, negative, unpleasant, or nasty to people, then it's really not anybody else's business. We 100% respect the rights of people of other races, nationalities, and ethnicities to have their own feelings on these things. We also know, based on all of the different commentary that we've seen around this subject, that there is not a unanimous thought process among any group. And while everyone's feelings are always valid, Finding something uncomfortable or being offended by something is not a good enough reason to tell someone that existing is wrong. Their existence alone is not an attack. For instance, we have one member of our system, Child, who is Japanese. And she very strongly associates with being Japanese. However, she also is in no way, shape, or form engaging in any sort of stereotyped behavior. She's just an 8-year-old kid who likes to paint and draw, who likes to talk to people, who doesn't like mint, who enjoys eating good food and making friends. She's her own individual identity. She's a person. She's not a caricature. So the idea that her very existence would be offensive to some people bothers us. DID and OSDD and other dissociative disorders are already incredibly highly stigmatized. Policing how other people's system members are allowed to express their identity, to me, just seems counterproductive. And we're all pretty much on the same page over here that it's just not helpful to try to police the identity of a system member. Now, we 100% agree that any system member who identifies as being a race different from the body is not going to have lived those outside experiences and should not attempt to speak over people when they're talking about those lived experiences. But at the same time, if all they're doing is saying, hey, this is me, this is who I am, that's not speaking over someone. That's simply stating their own personal truth. And we know that this is a very sensitive and controversial subject for many, but it was something that we felt very strongly about, and we felt the need to talk about. Anyone with DID, OSDD, or other dissociative disorders has suffered. And to compound that suffering by shaming someone for the way they were formed in the inner world and telling them that they can't identify with what feels most real to them, to us, that's not okay. We should be focusing on building each other up, not tearing each other down. So, while we understand the push that some people have to use different language, such as in the inner world they identify as whatever it is that they identify as, and we respect the right of other people to have that opinion, we disagree. We feel that making the language overly convoluted and overly complicated, especially when you're talking about very young members of the system who likely don't understand the implications of that convoluted language, or who may have trouble even using it, is just counterproductive. In the same way that we would never under any circumstance say that a member of the system had to say, oh, well, they identify as male in the inner world, but the body's female, or, oh, they identify as female in the inner world, but the body's male, or they identify as non-binary in the inner world, but the body is male or female or intersex or what have you, we don't feel that making a person's identity something to scrutinize or to determine how they're allowed to talk about it is a positive thing. We feel that everyone should be allowed to find the labels that feel the best for them, and that they should be able to feel comfortable being themselves without feeling like their existence and their personhood is seen as negative or wrong. Because again, all system members are always valid. 100%. So we hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.